Good morning, beautiful folks. This is Freedom Fighter. Today is Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024. We have two powerful articles that Goldilocks has shared with us that we're going to break down and explain. The first one is in regards to the new digital asset rules where several states have already considered cryptocurrency as money, and there are some states that haven't. The second article that Goldilocks has provided is very, very insightful and very informative about the digital systems that Iraq is implementing on their ports. They have already implemented these systems, and it's called the Automated System for Customs Data. The acronym is ICECUDA. We'll get into that. I'll explain it. That'll be the last article that we go over, but I'm going to go into a little more detail on that article because it warrants the details. The first article in regards to new digital asset rules, all right, that Goldilocks has shared. The Uniform Commercial Codes, UCC, Article 12, and its amendments treat digital assets and or cryptocurrencies as intangible assets. These digital assets are expected to be easy to move around as though it is money. The amendments come with the expectation that a security interest in these assets through control, similar to financial assets, will be linked to the new digital asset-based trading system. So what Goldilocks is saying is that the amendments come with expectation that a security interest in these assets through control, similar to financial assets, will be linked to the new quantum financial system or the new banking system. All right. Based on a review of state bills and statutes as of July the 1st, 2024, 24 states have already passed the 2022 amendments. These are the states, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you're aware, if your state is not on this list, don't worry. Don't be alarmed. Don't be in fear. Relax. These are the states that already have passed the amendments: Alabama, California, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Hawaii, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Tennessee, Virginia, and Washington. Arguably the most important jurisdiction also passed the 222 amendments, but it's not a state. It's the District of Columbia. All right? 2022 amendments. So, again, these are 24 states. Just because your state hasn't passed the amendments yet doesn't mean that they will not. They have a certain time frame before they will. And because they have it, it doesn't delay, stop, or prevent any of the progress that has already been made. It doesn't stop or delay the process as it is moving forward. Okay? About half of the United States have passed these amendments, and the rest of the states have until July the 1st, 2025 to complete this task. These amendments are intended to be phased in gradually over a period of at least 1 year, beginning no earlier than July the 1st, 2025. In other words, digital assets are about to be reclassified as money beginning July 1st, 2025. What this means is that digital assets are going to have a real value placed on them by July 1st, 2025. What are digital assets? Cryptocurrencies. This does not mean that this is when the value, the real value of digital assets will begin next year. That does not mean this. This means that they have until then. It also means, Goldilocks says, that our stable coins that represent a country's currencies will have real values to them as well. By then, these stable coins will influence our paper money prices. Remember, folks, MiCA and their stablecoin regulations have already gone into force as of June the 30th. Other countries around the world now have the blueprint of which to follow. Particularly in the U.S., the House of Representatives has already passed such regulations, and now waiting for the Senate as well. Both the House and the Senate have already announced that they are in process of passing these stablecoin regulations. The U.S. Treasury has made it clear we need stablecoin regulations. The Fed has made it clear we need stablecoin regulations. All right? So, we are in the process as a nation to have our own regulations incoming. And there are 3 supporting links that Goldilocks has provided that you all can review as well. Let's get to the next one. The Automated System for Customs Data, ICE Cutter. And we know that many of you have heard others talk about this. Let's get into it. The ICE Cutter is a computerized system created by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development to manage a country's customs. Why is this so important, folks? Customs, this is on the borders of every country. This is why Goldilocks has coined the phrase and constantly says, watch the water, because a country's currency, the supply and demand for that country's currency moves heavily on the water, through the ports, through trade from country to country. ICE Cutter is an integrated system for international trade and transport operations that uses advanced software applications. Think of the QFS on the ports, on the borders. ICE Cutter can handle many foreign trade procedures, including manifests, customs declarations, accounting procedures, and transit and suspense procedures. This is a quote. This next paragraph is a quote from within the articles that Goldilocks is providing. Quote, the point in time to determine rates of duty and taxes must be specified in the law and be configured accordingly in the ICE Cutter system. This date may also be used to define the exchange rate, the time of entry to customs warehouses, and be decisive whenever a date is required to define entry under a customs regime. End quote. Folks, understand that, and there's been some that have accurately stated the ICE Cutter system, once Iraq is integrated, a rate must be there. Iraq has started the integration of ICE Cutter and their ports as early as last year and the beginning of this year. This is not new. This is a process that Iraq has been moving forward with the digitization of their customs on the ports. This is not new. This is a process. We're looking at the midpoint of the process to completely integrate all of Iraq's ports. Goldilocks continues. By the end of the year, Iraq expects to have all of their ports on this electronic system. About 50% of the ports in Iraq will be utilizing this new electronic system for trade, and the other half is expected to be active by the midpoint of next year. As you can see, Iraq will need an exchange rate for these trades to take place on the ICE Cutter electronic system. Understand and know, Iraq has already began the integration process for the ICE Cutter system. There are other reports that show where Iraq has tracked almost 1,000 to 2,000 additional containers at each port as a result of implementing the ICE Cutter system onto the ports. I'm going to frame this so you understand how far Iraq has come in this process. Before Iraq started to integrate the ICE Cutter system last year, everything was done by paper. Paper money, paper ledgers. It was rampant with corruption, manipulation, and mismanagement. Just imagine you have thousands of containers, thousands of shipments at a port, and everything is done by hand. Everything is done manually. That's the way Iraq has done it traditionally. Now they have integrated into a digital platform, thus to eliminate the corruption, eliminate the manipulation. Now think of, as of January of this year, Iraq has signed contracts with the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and many private companies also and countries. Whereas Iraq now, all of their imports are through dinar, are transacted in dinar. Now think of all of the imports that are coming into Iraq and will come into Iraq on the ports. Instead of the manipulation that grossly damages the value of dinar, now it's all done in a digital platform where the tracking of both sides of a trade is instantaneously and accurate. Hence, to eliminate the human error, human manipulation. What we see with the ice cutter system is a large part of Iraq's integration into a new digital era, in a new digital banking system. Because the new digital banking system, which they have gone live on with their digital banking system, Goldilocks has shared almost a month ago the report by the United Nations that Iraq has gone live. Also a report from Iraq that they've gone live to digitize their banking system. Now here we have the ice cutter system, which is also by way of the United Nations, where they are digitizing their ports. So if you see this picture, if you see the big picture and the puzzle of connecting the dots with their banking system to digitize the banking system, eliminate corruption and manipulation, digitize the customs and the borders to eliminate corruption and mismanagement, you see what they're doing. Not just with the ports on the water, but the ports where the containers for the massive trucks when you cross the border, and the shipment of goods and services across the border on the roads. Now digitized. Iraq is in the process of moving up from an old Flintstone era of doing transactions and trade to the Jetsons. Instant digital transactions right in front of our eyes. Iraq is showing us their process. They're in the middle of their process. So understand and know, in order for them to be integrated into these systems, an exchange rate must be there. They are in that process, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that this has been helpful. Relax. Watch the process. Do your best to stay away from the constant roller coasters of dates and rates every week, and just follow the process. It's much better on your mental health. We love you. We appreciate you. Show someone unconditional love, as we always say. Ciao.